Good morning, dear children. Now we will move to section B of our chapter. Okay, so it is refraction of light through a prism. Do you know what is a prism? A prism is actually a transparent medium bounded by 5 plane surfaces. Okay, so I can show you a prism. This is a prism. Okay, so I hope it's visible for you. So it is a transparent medium. If it is a transparent medium, then only refraction of light takes place, isn't it? So first part is okay. It is a transparent medium. Then I told you it has 5 plane surfaces. 1, 2, 3, then backside 4 and down it is 5. So it is a transparent medium with bounded by 5 plane surfaces. And do you know what is the speciality of this? This can also be called as a triangular glass prism. And already I told you it has 5 surfaces. In that, 2 opposite faces or surfaces are triangle in shape. Can you see this? So this and the just opposite to that. So we are having 2 triangular faces. Then the other 2 faces as well as the base is rectangle in shape. Okay. So 2 opposite faces are identical triangles. And the other 2 as well as the base is rectangular in shape. So this is the first thing what you have to remember. Okay. So a prism is a transparent medium bounded by 5 plane surfaces, 2 triangular faces and 3 rectangular faces. Clear? Now, this angle, can you see? This angle is known as angle of the prism. Okay? This angle can be considered as the angle of the prism. And when we consider the cross section, we'll consider the triangular cross section. And in this, can you tell me which are the refracting surfaces? We will keep the object or the prism like this and the 2 rectangular surfaces are considered as the refracting surfaces. Okay. So this is the angle of the prism and these 2 surfaces can be considered as the refracting surfaces. So is it clear about a prism? Okay. Now we will move to refraction of light through this prism. So already I told you in this case we will be considering the triangular cross section. When we consider the cross section, it will be triangular in shape. The front part as well as the back part will be triangular. Then both the sides and the base is rectangular in shape. So I have considered the cross section of a prism and now we are going to discuss about the refraction of light through this. So, and this, what is the name given for this? This is the angle of the prism. Okay. Now, here I have the incident ray. Let me name this as A, B, C. Okay. Now, this ray of light hits on the surface AB. So, this is our incident ray. Now, I am going to draw the normal. This is the normal. And this ray is moving from a rarer medium to a denser medium. So, when it moves from rarer to denser, what happens? Refraction takes place and it bends towards the normal, isn't it? Rarer to denser means it bends towards the normal. So, it bends towards the normal. Then, here also I am going to draw the normal. Here the ray is moving from denser to rarer. So, what happens? It denser to rarer means it moves away from the normal. So, is it clear? Let me name this as P, Q, R and S. PQ is the incident ray, QR is the refracted ray and RS is the emergent ray. The ray which hits on the surface AB is called the incident ray. The one which refracts or passes into the denser medium or the glass is the refracted ray, and the one which comes out of this glass prism can be considered as the emergent ray. Now, we have to consider the angles. So, what is angle of incidence? Angle between the incident ray and the normal is known as angle of incidence. So, this is our incident ray and this is the normal. So, this angle is I. Okay, I am keeping it as I, or let me put it as I1. Angle of incidence is I1. Now, the angle formed between the refracted ray and the normal is angle of refraction. I am putting it as R1. Okay, R1 is the angle of refraction. Now, here we have an angle. I am naming it as R2. R2 is the angle of incidence in the second phase. Okay, angle of incidence at the phase AC is considered as R2. Now, this one angle between the emergent ray and the normal is the angle of emergence, and here I am going to name it as I2. So, I1 is the angle of incidence, R1 is the angle of refraction, R2 is the angle of incidence in the second phase, and I2 is the angle of emergence. So, is it clear? Now, actually we have a derivation regarding this. Don't need to consider that derivation. I will tell you, you have to remember just the equations, final conclusions based on this. Okay, we will be constructing a quadrilateral and we will be doing the derivation. So, no need for the derivation. Now, if this prism was not there, this ray would have gone like this, isn't it? If there was no prism, there won't be any bending and the ray would have gone straight. Now, I am extending this emergent ray in the backward direction. Okay. So, I extended the incident ray in the forward direction and emergent ray in the backward direction, and I get an angle here, and this is delta, which is known as angle of deviation. Okay. The angle formed by extending the incident ray in the forward direction and the emergent ray in the backward direction is known as angle of deviation delta. Okay. So, is it clear? Now, we will be having the derivations and finally we will be getting two conclusions, and you study this diagram thoroughly and then you should just know those two equations. Okay. And the other things what is given in your textbook is not needed. So, what you have to remember is R1 plus R2 is equal to A. Angle of refraction and angle of incidence in the second phase. The sum of R1 and R2 is equal to angle of the prism, and the second one is I1 plus I2 is equal to A plus delta. Okay. So, these are the two conclusions. So, please study these two things. R1 plus R2 is equal to angle of the prism. I1 plus I2 is equal to angle of the prism plus angle of deviation. And the other one already I told you, we'll be constructing with this normal, we'll be constructing a quadrilateral and then we'll be solving it. That is the mathematical proof, no need to consider that. So, is it clear? We have discussed about a prism and refraction through a glass prism. So, is it clear? Now, the next thing is the factors on which the angle of deviation depends. First one is the angle of incidence. Okay, factors on which the angle of deviation depends. First one is angle of incidence. When angle of incidence increases, at first angle of deviation decreases. Okay, then it reaches a minimum value and after that it starts increasing. At first when the angle of incidence increases, angle of deviation decreases and reaches a minimum value. Again, when you are increasing the angle of incidence, what happens? Angle of deviation also start increasing. So, we can represent this using a graph. Okay. So, I am constructing a graph by taking angle of incidence in the x-axis and angle of deviation in the y-axis. Angle of incidence in the x-axis, angle of deviation in the y-axis. Now, this will be the shape of the graph. That is, when angle of incidence increases, what happens to angle of deviation at first? Angle of deviation decreases. It reaches a minimum value. And again, when you are increasing angle of incidence, angle of deviation increases. And this minimum point can be called as delta min, that is angle of minimum deviation. Delta stands for angle of deviation. Delta minimum means angle of minimum deviation. That is the point where the angle of incidence for which here angle of deviation becomes minimum. That point is given here. So that minimum value is given as angle of minimum deviation. So is it clear? When the angle of incidence increases, at first angle of deviation decreases and reaches a minimum point. That is known as angle of minimum deviation. After that, when again if you are increasing the angle of incidence, angle of deviation starts increasing. Now, two things you have to remember related to this angle of minimum deviation. At angle of minimum deviation, okay, angle of incidence will be equal to angle of emergence. Angle of incidence will be equal to angle of emergence, and the refracted ray, okay, refracted ray will be parallel to the base of the prism. These are the two things what you have to remember. At angle of minimum deviation, angle of incidence will be equal to angle of emergence. That is why I have written angle I1 is equal to angle I2. And the refracted ray will become parallel to the base of the prism. So please note these 2 points. And one more thing, angle of minimum deviation is unique for given color of light and given pair of medium. Okay. Value of delta minimum will be unique. That means only one value will be there for delta minimum for given color of light and given pair of medium. And do you know what is the reason for that? The reason is only for one value of angle of incidence, we will be getting a value of angle of deviation in which the refracted ray is parallel to the base. Okay. So this is also very important. We are drawing the graph by plotting the values corresponding to I and delta. So for one particular value of angle of incidence, we will be getting, for one value of I, we will be getting a value for delta, isn't it? So for one value of angle of incidence, we will be getting only one value for angle of deviation. Only one value will be obtained which is parallel to the base. Okay, so that point is also very important. Only for one value of angle of incidence, the refracted ray inside the prism is parallel to the base. Okay, so I think this question also came once for the board exam. So only for one value of angle of incidence, the refracted ray will be parallel to the base. Okay. Now the next thing given in your textbook is not needed. That is deviation of different angles of incidence. It is not needed. Then we will move to the next factor, that is angle of the prism. When angle of the prism increases, angle of deviation also increases. Okay. So angle of incidence increase. When the angle of prism increases, angle of deviation also also increases. Now, the third one is about the refractive index. Okay, when the refractive index is more, higher the refractive index, higher will be the deviation shown. Okay, higher the refractive index is, refractive index, value of refractive index is more, then more deviation will be shown. So an example is given in your textbook about flint glass as well as crown glass. Okay, when you are considering refractive index of flint glass, it is greater than refractive index of a crown glass. So that means if we are using flint glass, then the deviation shown will be more compared to that of a crown glass. So note this point also. Now the last one is about the color or wavelength of light. If wavelength is more, deviation shown will be less. So which color is having maximum wavelength? Red, isn't it? Red color has maximum wavelength. So the deviation is minimum for red. Violet is having minimum wavelength. So deviation is maximum for violet. Do you remember dispersion? So we will be getting VIBGYOR, and in that where are we getting V? V will be always in the bottom. From bottom to top we are writing VIBGYOR. That means violet light shows maximum deviation. Why? Because higher the wavelength, deviation will be minimum, and lesser the wavelength, deviation will be maximum. Since violet light has minimum wavelength, deviation shown will be maximum. So is it clear from this session what all things you have to remember? What is a prism? Then refraction through a triangular glass prism. Factors on which the deviation produced by the prism depends. So 4 factors. In the case of angle of incidence, when the angle of incidence increases, first angle of deviation decreases, reaches a minimum value and then increases. When angle of prism increases, angle of deviation also increases. When refractive, higher the refractive index, more will be the deviation, and when the color wavelength is more, deviation will be minimum. So children, with that we completed that section, and you can take exercise 4B, and in that for most of the questions answers are given. Only for very few questions you have to write the answer. So write the answer, find the answer and write it. Okay. And I told you 2, that is derivation regarding that prism, related to the prism, and deviation at different angles of incidence. Those 2 things are not needed. Okay. So thank you.